Hello everybody, long time no here, Bart over here. Today a short video about a fix on a Fiat 126p. If you ever had a situation where you wanted to start the car and all you saw is the lights dim a little bit, the alternator light and the oil pressure light dim, then you might have a faulty ignition switch. So it took me a long time to fix it. First I went into the engine compartment and I checked the ground strap, which is right over here, make sure that's all good. Then I actually replaced the freaking starter, which took me forever, and it didn't solve the problem. It turns out that the ignition switch is defective. It sometimes makes contact and sometimes doesn't. So I'm going to show you how to make the fix. Of course you can replace the ignition switch, but that takes a lot of work and you have to disassemble the column, and I decided to do something else. Well, one thing is what I wanted to do is I'm going to remove this little cover right over here where the cigarette lighter is, and I'm gonna put in an external switch, and I show you how to wire. So I found this switch. It's like a 5 amp rated switch. I soldered some wires to it. They got to be long enough to reach into the front compartment, so make sure they're long enough. Pardon my mess, this is my Polski Fiat parts bin right over here. And this is the cigarette lighter cover that was there. So you remove that and we'll just drill a hole in there to fit this, because this is going to be our new ignition switch. You know, like in the modern cars where you have the start switch. That's what we're gonna want. Okay, now we've got this thing drilled and threaded and attached. Okay, and then I mentioned long ends, and then you cut the long ends, and then you make something like this at the end. Use the solder iron to tin it and make like little connections like this at the end. Yeah, use your needle nose pliers to make something like this. I'll show you why. This is an inexpensive and quick and fast way of doing it. I'm not saying this is the best way of doing it, but it'll get the job done. Okay, now in the engine compartment you find this. And there's a red, brown, black, and blue. You connect one of those, you bend it like this, to red, and the second one to black. Do not connect to brown, because brown is always active. You want to connect it to black, because black is only when the ignition is on. Otherwise you can start a car when the ignition is off, so we don't want to do that. So again, red and black, and that's how this looks, boys and girls. You just shoved it in there, and I'm gonna secure it with the zip ties and electrical tape in a second. But I connected one to black and one to red, and just leave it like that. When it's bent like this, it'll be plenty tight in there, and when you secure it with electrical tape, it'll look real nice. I'll show you. Now, before we tie everything up and finish everything up, let's just try it. First, everything is off. Car's neutral. Let's try it. Push the key. Nothing happens. That's great. Turn the ignition. Start the car with an ignition. Mine starts 50% of the time, so my start this time. Okay. Starts. Turn it off. Put it in the accessory position, right? So just the alternator is on. And push the key. Boom. Okay, turn it off. Accessory position only. Key, button, and that's problem solved. This will save you replacing the entire ignition switch, which is a little bit of a pain in the ass. I'm not saying that's not better. Of course, if you want to do it, that's fine. But this is a reasonable and reasonably elegant repair, and you can do it for about $5 as opposed to messing with this ignition switch for a whole day. And it's pretty reliable too, because now you have the switch and now you have this. And because being stealthy like this, people not gonna accidentally push it. Now be careful not to push it while the engine is running, of course, because if you push it, that'll engage the starter. But at least it's not on when the engine is off. Okay, so that's good. So the only time the starter is active is when the engine is in accessory position. So if the key is in accessory position, you push the switch, it'll start the engine. I hope you liked it. Sorry it was a long time from making the videos, but you've got this pesky thing called work that keeps me away. Hopefully you find it helpful, and we appreciate your comments. Thank you for watching.